Week 3 is nearly wrapped up, and oh my god, Andy Dalton was the highlight of the week. It's not good. It's not good. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Too Much Fantasy Football here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. It's Brian, it's Brennan. We're back for another week. Week 3's wrapped up, man. How we doing?
You know, Colts won, which was great, but then the rest of my fantasy teams did not do good. I need Josh Allen to get 30 points tonight. I need miracles across the board.
And of course, Colts win, and I was not into it at all. I was all Bears just going into the weekend, so it just was sadness, I guess, for me across the board.
Just sadness of how Anthony Richardson played, dude, and we still won.
Oh man, it's awful. And then watching Caleb Williams on their other end, I'm like, it's just, not very rosy over there for the Bears or Chicago either. But we're not going to spend the whole day talking about it, just about 28 of the 30 minutes of this episode. No, I'm kidding. Let's jump into this. We've got to talk about everything that happened on the week 3 and tight ends. Why do we use tight ends? Kickers. I understand kickers. They're a very valuable position. But what are we looking at here? Dallas Goedert, Cole Kmet. I said nothing but bad things about them this past week, and they said, hey, Brian, I'm going to give you the finger.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped Dallas Goedert for Mike Gesicki, so I wanted nothing to do with them. And of course, when that happens, I might lose this week because of it. I don't regret it because I don't think Dallas Goedert will repeat this again. I just think it was a 1 week miracle. So go ahead and go spend your fab on him by all means.
I was going to say, to be fair, Devonta Smith getting knocked out halfway through the game probably wasn't planned for the Dallas Goedert sitters, but it happened. Cole Kmet looks good. I mean, Caleb Williams didn't look great, but he did have a pretty decent stat line, couple of touchdowns, threw for a couple hundred yards. Cole Kmet
he threw 52
up
times or something like that, something crazy like that, because they can't run the ball. So,
wait, no, they play the Colts. Everybody can run the ball against the Colts.
Yeah, well, apparently, I don't know if you saw the Twitter picture of the Chicago O-line and the play where they swung it to the right or the left, and they're 4 of their offensive linemen are on the ground. It's worth just type in Chicago offensive lineman. You'll literally go. It's the funniest thing ever. Talk
about a tune-up game for the Colts, who really need some spirits lifted up there.
Yeah.
I think the biggest question here that's on everybody's mind has to be the struggle we've seen across with big names like Kelce, Laporta. Pitts finished at 9, and got to throw that in there. Andrews didn't even record a point, 1 target the whole game. What happened with Andrews? We're panicking, aren't we?
Oh, shit. I don't know what to do, man. Because then they were asked Harbaugh, at the end of the game, he was just in for, the heavier personnel because we're going to run more. And it's just okay, that's cool. Are you going to just, not throw him the ball then? And is it going to be Isaiah? I don't know what to do with Mark Andrews. I'm on a pretty high panic.
Yeah, because it wasn't something they quit throwing the ball to everybody. You walked out of this game, Derrick Henry and Lamar looked great, but all of these other teams all these other players just looked horrible. Laporta looked like he got banged up a little bit. Should be okay. He should
be fine. It's a low ankle sprain, so it's nothing serious.
But, I mean, he's still not giving you the points. Are you looking for a pivot option with a banged up Laporta?
What are you going to pivot to? What's out there that's seriously, the tight ends this year, this might be the worst year for tight ends ever. You're flipping a coin and hoping for the best. Honestly, there will not be a consistent. I feel like at the end of this year, whoever finishes as 1, it's just they had 3 massive games and then the rest were just very meh. And that's why they're the number 1.
Yeah, I think the best strategy is if anybody is coming to you for your tight ends, no matter who it is, I'd sell them. Take some value and then just play the streaming game, because I don't think there's going to be a position for you to go out there and go acquire any of these tight ends. Because as soon as somebody sniffs consistency at all, it's done. They're locked up on that team.
I agree.
It's gross. Buzzer's about to go, zzz, but we're going to move on. Undefeated teams. That's what we need to talk about right now. The big teams that everybody thought were going to be undefeated. Kind of the Steelers, the Vikings, after their first round pick went down. What is happening? Darnold threw 4 touchdowns this past weekend.
Dude, I don't know, man. And it was against a good Texans defense too. The Steelers one, it's like their schedule is kind of like it's kind of been a nice little schedule for them. Like they've had, like then also Justin Herbert got knocked out halfway through the game, so not going to knock them. Steelers still have a really good defense, so like they're playing at all levels. They're playing the Colts next week, so could be another win for them. The Vikings play the Packers. I think Jordan Love comes back, so that should be a really good game to watch and see if they are legit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they seem legit beating the Texans, so and watching Stroud getting 3 false starts in a row is quite hilarious.
This was, I thought, the game that was really going to show us the Vikings. And I thought they were going to show us that the Vikings were mediocre. This defense was decent. The offense has some good He doesn't even have Hawkinson or Addison out there right now. He's got guys like Jalen Naylor that are catching back-to-back touchdowns in games right now. I am so thrilled with what we're getting out of Darnold right now. Anybody who has like these late quarterbacks, especially in like Superflex Dynasty right now, oh, they're killing it. Absolutely killing it. Punting the position was the way to go.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, the Mahomes being 3-0, you gotta mention it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. We will. The Steelers game, though, it kind of threw me off a bit. We did see Fields throw for 245 yards. He doesn't do that a whole lot. And then you've got Najee with 18 carries, 70 yards, 5 catches. Cordell Patterson got in there with 4 catches. Jalen Warren with 3 catches, 5 yards. But Harris is in a sling right now.
Yeah, Harris is in a sling, and Warren's getting an MRI on his knee. So, like, Cordell Patterson, RB1.
This was Arthur Smith's plan the whole time. He wanted this to happen. He's like, I'm going to run these other guys into the ground so I can get Patterson.
I want my guy to be RB1. He's going to get it, too. It's going to be hilarious.
I don't know. I mean, we're going to talk to more tomorrow during the waiver show about Patterson, but I don't even know if I want to sniff this team if those other 2 guys aren't there. J.K. Dobbins seemed to be shut down. 15 carries, 44 yards, 3 catches for 10 yards. Gus Edwards only saw 3 carries. This is a product of Herbert, and if we're missing Herbert for a game or 2, are we benching these players?
No, I think you keep J.K. in. I think just because like they still want to run the ball heavy, so I'm definitely not firing up QJ. I'm not firing up Blatt. Or I'm really trying to pivot elsewhere with all those guys.
It's not fun at all. Trying to think of what else we got. We got 16 seconds. We got to stall out.
I mean, Chiefs 3-0. Got to talk about them. I mean, hey, they're still good. I mean, Mahomes is not playing like Mahomes, and the defense is carrying him. So.
Rice is absolutely crushing it.
Rice is wide receiver 1. Go trade for him if you can. Go get him.
Yeah, he's been quite the surprise, especially with everything happening, Pacheco, all that other stuff. Hollywood Brown being out, ridiculous. Let's talk about some ridiculous running backs. These got good and the bad because we had plenty on both sides. You want to start with the good first?
Start with the good.
Let's start with the good. King Henry, give him his crown. This is what we were hoping for when we saw him go to the Ravens. Offensive line be damned, dude, crushed.
Yeah, I mean, you drafted him for hoping for one of these games, like it's an iconic Derrick Henry game for him. I expect this to kind of keep going if they keep allowing it for the Ravens. So. Really unfortunate because it affects other players on the Ravens team, which we'll talk about, or which we already did talk about. It's super annoying. Man, it's just I'm so flustered still with the goddamn tight ends. But no, Derrick Henry had a great game. Jonathan Taylor had a great game. Is like the guys that where you drafted them are paying dividends. But there's like in the Lions running back too. David Montgomery seemed like to be the steal.
He continues to outperform Jahmyr Gibbs. This is 3 weeks in a row that he has beat Jahmyr Gibbs in weekly standings.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I was trying to fade him, but I guess he was the right pick.
Charbonnet, RB8 last week, RB7 this week, 18 carries, 91 yards, 3 catches, scored 2 touchdowns. He's getting 100% of the work, which I think it's great as long as Kenneth Walker's out. Once Kenneth Walker comes back, I think we're going to see closer to a 50-50 split. Charbonnet is not the runner. He did average 5 yards a carry this week, but Kenneth Walker is going to be the running back, or the main running guy. Yeah,
Kenneth Walker. I mean, it's nice to have Charbonnet if you have him. You can just plug him in, but like when it comes back to the time, Kenneth Walker is the better running back of the two, and I don't think it's really close.
Going back to Thursday a little bit, Breece Hall here, we saw him plenty of usage. Braylon Allen continues to see more and more involvement.
Braylon Allen will be the reason why Breece Hall will not be an RB1. this year. Like, will be the RB1.
The
like,
RB1,
because
yeah.
yeah, like Braylon Allen, you have to play him because he is that good. But like, I'm not worried about Brees. Brees Hall will finish as a top 5 running back, but Brees Hall would finish as the RB1 if Braylon Allen would to go to the Cowboys. And there's like probably 12 teams that could use Braylon Allen right now.
If he would have gone to the other New York team, if he was over there with the Giants instead of Singletary, oh my goodness, just any of these teams. He looks so good out there.
It's
very
crazy.
young kid, absolutely just behemoth. It's upsetting. But yeah, Brees Hall will not have that CMC type season, that Todd Gurley type season that we saw years ago. He can't have that this year, and probably for the next couple of years, because unless somebody really pays up, Braylon Allen's going to be there longer than him, according to their rookie contracts anyway.
Yeah.
Achan, I still think you have to start him, but
you still do. And they have Boyle. Boyle's probably going to check down more than Skylar Thompson. I'm not worried about Achan. I think Achan's work's going to be safe.
It is. Goodness, they use him so much, especially between the tackles. That blows my mind.
That's why I'm not worried about him. Like, you're going to keep starting him.
I just don't like it. Maybe that's what it is. We had some backups take over in some games. We're gonna save the Packers or the Panthers game. Let's go to the Packers. Malik Willis, the revenge game. After him just looking sorry as hell in his first couple seasons, gets traded a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was like preseason week 2, week 3, basically the end of it, and they were just like, oh, we'll just sit there and mentor him. But I don't know, man. LaFleur is a really good coach, so credit to him. He definitely knows how to hone in on these guys. Because I thought the Titans were a good streaming defense. I thought for sure. I was like, oh, flash game against the Colts. But nope. Will Levis looked really really bad. Malik Willis looked pretty good. So I expect Jordan Love to come back this week. It sounds like, is about to be close. So, because I think they play the Vikings. So that's a game they really want their best quarterback to be available for. So I expect him to be starting. So for all those that pivoted to Malik Willis from super flex leagues, you enjoyed it. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's probably about gone. But 200 yards, a touchdown, 6 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. You crush with that. Absolutely crush. Will Levis, we are 3 weeks in. I'm already hearing chatter about the backup. Do we see
He just
Mason
got
Rudolph?
quoted today from the head coach saying he's my quarterback. And they have to come out and say that. It's never good. So
I think what we're hoping for right now with Will Levis, best case scenario, is Jameis Winston. He's really good at turning it over. Now I just need him to be able to respond with a touchdown after he throws a pick six or after he throws an interception. So Tennessee's going to be drafting a quarterback
on
this spring.
4th and 2 is the funniest thing ever. I can't help but laugh at that. He just tried hurtling over a dude for 2 yards. It's like, bro, oh man, he keeps making plays that are just like, how can you top from being dumber than the next one? And he just does it. It's truly impressive.
I'm here for it. It gives me something to laugh at. It's going to give us content to work with.
Because the backup's Mason Rudolph, so
gross.
Yeah.
So the other guy that came out and impressed as far as backup goes, Andy Dalton. Second time he started for the Carolina Panthers. The only quarterback this year to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That is
wild stuff here. Absolutely crushed. 36-22. Minshew even got benched himself over there.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what's going on. So I've said Dave Canales is a good, offensive mind. I said if someone's gonna figure out for Bryce Young, it'd be him. Clearly, that didn't work out. Andy Dalton comes in, sees a system for a couple weeks, and literally, Deontay Johnson, wide receiver 1. Adam Thielen looks like he can be startable if he's gonna play. He might be injured, but I mean. This means really good news for Jonathan Brooks because I think he's going to be the best running back of the guys. So it's all firing up. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard had a really good game too. So
absolutely great game. And yeah, Deontay Johnson, as you said, this was the reason I wanted him to draft him so many places. Drafting him as the wide receiver 44. Why did I want that? Because this is what I was hoping for. I thought Bryce Young was going to be closer to what Andy Dalton gave us. I didn't think that was high expectations, but clearly it was too tall for Bryce Young to stand up to. Short joke.
Yeah.
All right, wide receiver booms bust. We got to talk about a handful. We mentioned Rice up at the top. Malik Neighbors, I didn't want to bring him up because we talked about him last week, but we have to. That his signature catches are a thing. 2 touchdowns, all of the targets, leading the NFL in targets. Brennan doesn't like him for some reason.
First off, I love him. I love Malik Neighbors. I can arguably say Malik Neighbors will be a more valuable asset in fantasy than Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's got is it like a 60% target share or something ridiculous like that right now? Like he's just literally, it's like every other pass is just to him. So if you
and they're
own
Daniel
Malik
Jones
Neighbors,
targets, and they're still not bad.
and they're not bad because he's gonna find him somehow. He doesn't, he just needs to throw in that area and he'll get it. I mean, let's talk about it. So Rashee Rice is having, for all those that faded him, you're really regretting that because you got him probably in the 5th, 6th round, and you're really stoked on that. So he just had a career game yesterday against the Falcons. Amari Cooper, for all those that benched him, I'm one of them, and has this career game. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Amari Cooper. I guess you start him now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you got to look at the matchup. Deshaun Watson struggled in a matchup I thought he was streamable in. As far as Superflex goes, it's gross. But I can't sit there and watch Cooper have 2 touchdowns on my bench, though. You may not see it many times because Deshaun Watson doesn't have many multi-touchdown games. But yeah, it's hard. Odunze and DJ Moore, though. We again, we're kind of going back to the Bears game there. Wow, Odunze, is he going to be in a regular rotation if it's just the 2 wide receivers in Chicago?
I mean, like this team looks like it needs Keenan Allen back. I mean, Shane Waldron's a terrible offensive coordinator, so they need to get rid of him really, really fast. I feel bad for Caleb Williams because he's not going to be able to really progress in any way. Being something we don't know. I don't know, man. If I have DJ Moore, I'm trying to trade him. If Shane Waldron's really going to be the offensive coordinator for this team for the rest of the year, I don't want anything to own with Chicago offense.
Yeah, we'll get him fired halfway through. We're rooting for it, people. Don't worry, we're pushing. Chris Olave shows up finally. He just couldn't connect, and Olave he was able to get in the end zone this week.
What was his stat line? Because he caught a touchdown at the end of the game. So what was it before that? That's the question mark.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty before then. I mean, Saints only finished with 12 points. It wasn't great. Derek Carr only had 142 yards. He was 6 for 6, 86 yards and a touchdown.
Okay, so it wasn't awful, but that touchdown definitely helped you, though.
He was 5 for 50 or right before the touchdown, so it wasn't the best. But I think we're moving in that direction. The Eagles did a pretty good job of limiting what we saw. I mean, the Carr got flats. That's really what it comes down to it.
Are you starting Hill and Waddle next week? I mean, you really have to start Hill. You really have no choice.
Yeah, Waddle is an easy sit for me going forward. Hill is I have to because unless I have a perfect draft and I can sit him, which I didn't. I didn't, people. I know you thought I probably did, but I didn't. What about you? You starting him?
Yeah, you have no choice for Hill. Waddle you can bench, though.
Bench him, and then CeeDee Lamb, disappointing. Finishes wide receiver 44. Just got to toss it out there. All right. To the underdogs, oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie. The moment Trent Richardson went to the ground, I hammered 4 money lines on the Rams. Fucking tore it up yesterday because of that. Oh my gosh. Freaking great.
Dude. And the 49ers could have won this game because I think Ayuk fumbled it and we gave the ball back. Dude. And it's crazy because Shanahan owns McVay in the regular season. It's not even close. It's I think 10 wins to 5 losses. It's always, and whenever it's in the Rams house, no offense, it's a San Francisco home game. I live here in LA. There's no home games for either Rams or Chargers. It's always a visiting team game. More so Rams fans than Chargers, but still, I don't know, man. I'm more impressed with Sam Darnold than anybody in the Vikings. I think Kevin O'Connell's on his way to having to be the coach of the year for sure.
His odds went from 12 to 1, and then after this week, it's shut down to I think plus 250, something like that.
Shoot, man. I mean, if they make the playoffs, they go 10-7. You got to give it to them. No one thought that for sure with Sam Darnold being the quarterback to get that many wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this team's incredible for what they've done. I hope this defense is for real. I think we've seen it kind of over the last 2-3 years. We get, visions of, all right, are they real? Are they not? Sometimes they get blown out of water. But Brian Flores is there as the defensive coordinator, and he's done a pretty good job with them the last couple of years.
Dude, not a good head coach, Great defensive coordinator, though.
I think it's common. DCs just are better. I mean, OCs. There's some guys that just need to be OCs, but I'm not usually a fan of the head coaches that are defensive coordinators.
I'm the same way, just because offensive coordinators usually get poached, and then your offensive changes, and yeah, it's just a bunch of problems. So yeah, I'm in the same boat as that. But like, hey man, Carolina. I mean, Andy Dalton looked good, so he made the offense look really fluid. So I don't know what's gonna happen from there. I mean. Are you thinking about starting Andy Dalton in some leagues? Like,
I hope I don't have to. I mean, I do have some deep enough leagues where he will be in consideration, but my 10, 12 man leagues, no, I've got enough that I hope I don't have to. I guess I need to look at the schedule, but Deontay Johnson, man, that's the piece that he needs there. And plus, you've got the complementary with Hubbard and Thielen. Tremble even got involved.
All right, out of these quarterbacks of Baker, Goff, Dalton, and Carr, what are you doing? Because the Raiders weren't no slouch defense. I mean, he torched them.
Oh, man. I don't know. I really liked the Raiders streaming him the next few weeks, and after this past week, it just kind of like shut that door completely. God, that's rough. I want to move on. But maybe not with Dalton. I got to bring up Juwan Jennings, though. Absolutely blew it up. Wide receiver 1 overall.
Cheapest DK start ever.
Yeah, I know a little something about that. That's right.
Yeah.
He did so much for that team. He tried to win it for the team, and the 49ers just wouldn't let him. All right, last thing we got to talk about is some quarterbacks. Start with the good. Dak, Lamar, same game. These guys did a great job. Tore it up.
Yeah. I mean, Dak, he finally figured out like the end of the third, going to the fourth quarter. They almost, came back and won it. Not really worried about Dak or Lamar. I mean, you're going to start them because they're in your lineup. You drafted them probably as, you drafted Lamar as, QB4 and Dak as QB, 8. They're staying in your lineup. They've done nothing else to prove otherwise. I mean, Dak had one bad game, and Lamar, just with his legs rushing upside, you have to keep him in there. Caleb Williams, I started him in a lot of DK spots just because I think the Colts defense is bad, and he threw 52 times, so he was bound to have, a positive regression game. I knew it was coming against the Colts, but I don't expect it to continue forward. The Colts just have a bad defense, and to throw so many times. Again, I've said it enough. Shane Waldron needs to go for Chicago. What about Hurts, man? Like he's
hurting.
He's hurting you, and I think he leads the league in the past 26 starts. He leads the league in turnovers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
something like that.
Had an interception, I think, in every one of his last 7 games at this point.
Yeah.
It's not good, and now you're down AJ Brown. And so they play week 4. Their bye is week 5. So we may not see good production out of the Eagles, not named Saquon Barkley, until week 6, because Devonta Smith's probably going to miss this week.
He's going to miss this week for sure. That was a nasty concussion. I don't know if you guys saw that. That he was. I would be very, very shocked if he plays this week.
And it just makes sense with them having the bye the following week. Give him and AJ Brown just one more week. Let's come hit the ground running in week 6. So that means Hurts has got to get it done with Goddard, who had a good day, a career day. But you've got him, you've got Dotson. Saquon can do it himself, absolutely can, but that doesn't necessarily mean points for Hurts. So I'm
Oh, and Lane Johnson also has a concussion too. So
goodness, this Eagles team, man, it was great while they were in the Super Bowl, but it was Kelce retired at the right time. It seems they're going to be going through some bumps and bruises this season.
Yeah.
So let me name off the top. We talked about Brock Purdy's number 3, Dak, Lamar, Brock. Here's the following quarterbacks: Malik Willis, Andy Dalton, Sam Darnold. We've talked about these guys. Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. Patrick Mahomes is in there at 12. Deshaun Watson, Kyler, Will Levis, Jared Goff, Gardner Minshew. And then all the other players that we've drafted. So Matthew Stafford at 19. Kirk Cousins, Hurts, Stroud, Baker Mayfield, Herbert, Carr were the rest. Like what? And then Anthony Richardson at 27. We kind of glazed over the Colts.
I would have a backup plan for Richardson. He plays the Steelers this week. If you can pick up somebody like Sam Darnold, like you can pick up somebody that's just a good streaming option, I would consider it.
That's exactly where I was going. It's going to hurt, especially if he ends up blowing up just for some stupid reason.
Yeah.
But most quarterback, I don't think, is there a single quarterback that's not a streaming quarterback at this point this season?
That's not a streaming quarterback?
that you wouldn't look at, or is there a single quarterback you look at right now as an auto start each and every week?
Lamar. Mahomes.
You think Mahomes is still an auto start though?
Yeah, I still think so. Like, he was still QB 12, so it's QB 1 production. Like,
He's been 12, 14, and 12. So like,
yeah, like he's still he's right there. So yeah, he's still. That's the only reason why I say it, is just because he's literally finished as a 12th.
But that gives you two, Lamar and Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Because even Dak, he's got 22.
Oh, Josh Allen. I'm forgetting Josh Allen. That's silly of me.
Why are we
Silly of me,
forgetting him? Oh, he hasn't played yet
plays
this week.
tonight. Yeah.
Okay, folks, we are recording this a little before the last 2 Monday games, this week and next week. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
thing.
the guy who's been
We're gonna
QB1 the
gripe about.
past 2 years in a row running. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's not on the list. That's okay.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 quarterbacks at this point that we are confident. Something to note.
Jaden Daniels too. He hasn't played. It's another name too.
I don't know if he's an auto start, though.
I think he is going forward.
That's what I said about Anthony Richardson. I think they were about the same damn thing, unfortunately. All right, Brandon, we got to get out of here. We got to shut it down. Folks, don't forget to come hang out with us tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. We've got our StreamYard, oh my God, our streaming show, The Waiver Wire. We've got to figure out who to pick up, who to drop, all that fun stuff. An hour-long live stream with the two of us. Before we get out of here, though, let them know where they can find you, Brennan.
You can find me on X at FFAN BMulk, and then I'm in the Fantasy Football Advice Network group page on Facebook, answering all your lovely questions about Dynasty and redraft. So,
wait, there's like a whole platform just for starts. I got to wait.
Is.
Where? What is that called?
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again,